Welcome to I Didn't See That Coming with host Jeanette Jones.
You there?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So, did you hear me talking over that intro video? Okay. So now we know I cannot talk over the intro. But hi guys, it's me, Jeanette. I'm here with Veronica.
Hello.
Trying out my new introduction video. I love it. I just haven't worked with it yet, so we'll have to get used to it. But hopefully you guys like it. Chad helped me get it because I listened to a podcast and I'm kind of a fangirl of this amazing artist. Her name is Jennifer Stewart, and he reached out to her and asked if she'd be willing to make the intro for me, and she did.
Oh,
and
cool.
I really love it. So thank you, Jen Stewart, if you're watching. I was going to put all of your information where people could reach you into the information box where the description is. However, I could not edit it for some reason. So that'll go in next week's. But thank you to Jen Stewart for that. And hi, everybody. How you guys doing today? Hope you're good. Veronica, if you could kind of talk to them for a second, I'm going to go make sure we're live on Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, hope everybody's
Do you remember the content? You could tell them a little bit about what we're going to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, hope everybody's having a good afternoon. So today's topic is, what advice would you give your younger self? I've been kind of thinking about this. That's kind of hard because I guess it depends on what age. That's a hard one.
I know it'll be an interesting thing
topic
to talk about for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I'm having a little bit of issues with Facebook. It didn't load it. Just give me just a second, and then I will get to the chat. Also, do you want to? I wonder if hopefully you're going to be able to see the chat today.
Yes, I can. I'm on the chat or the comment section, but I don't see any comments as of yet.
Nice. Okay, I found it. Let's see if it'll work.
So yeah, that's our topic. So I'll be interested to see everybody's feedback on that. Yeah, what would you tell your younger self?
Yeah, that'll be great. Oh my gosh, it was just on it and then it went off. Facebook is having issues loading this today. That is really interesting, and I want to make sure we don't leave any of our Facebook people out. Sorry guys, this is a weird day because things are not working for me.
Blast Corpse, hello.
Oh, hey, hello. He's doing my
Donna Casterson says hi.
Hi,
I hope
Donna.
I got your name right.
Yeah. Hi, Donna. Great to have you here. Okay, now I think I'm going to be able to do it.
And those are the only two that I see right now.
Okay, let's see if this works. Facebook is having issues. Okay. Now I think I got it. Okay, it's done. All right. So today we're going to talk about advice that we would give our younger selves. And honestly, I stole this from another YouTube channel that I'm co-hosting for. And we had a conversation one night. And it was actually like a letter we would write to our younger selves. And it was a really good conversation.
It was a really good one. I heard that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I thought about it and I was like, this is kind of a really good topic to talk about, because as we get older, we have a tendency to look back on our lives and everything that we've learned through our journey, whatever our journeys were. And I think that it would be great for us to talk about, what would be the advice that we'd give our younger selves, and would we change anything about what we've done? Because for all of us, the answer to that could be different. For some, I'm sure they'd like to change it. For others, despite hardships, some people wouldn't change it. So I'll go ahead and start. And I think one of the biggest pieces of advice that I would give my younger self would be that I am enough. Because I think as I grew up, I always had a tendency to think of myself as not quite good enough. Or for some reason, I didn't measure up to the people around me or the other people in my life. And part of that was because of my vision. And part of that was just because I, had some insecurities, like we all do, especially going through puberty and all that stuff and trying to find myself. I still haven't found myself. I don't know. I mean, I think that every phase of life is a new version of ourselves. So I don't think we ever really find ourselves. I think we're constantly reinventing ourselves as we go through one experience to the next in life. So what would be one piece of advice that you would give your younger self, Veronica?
Don't be so quick to do what everyone else is doing just so you could fit in. I know I did that a lot, especially my 20s. Oh my gosh. Yeah, just because everyone else was doing it, and I thought, okay, maybe I'll get noticed. Maybe people will like me. Not necessarily be popular, but I just wanted to be part of that. Well, I guess, yeah, part of that in crowd, I guess. So, yeah, don't be so quick to give in to peer pressure, I guess. Don't be so quick to go, okay, because everyone else is doing it, then I'll do it too. Because let's face it, people do some stupid stuff, you know. So that's one thing that I would say. And
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, it's hard. I think I'm having a little bit of technical problems. So Veronica, since you can see the chat, I'm gonna kind of have you doing the chat this show.
Okay, let me see.
I'm still stuck in the intro screen where I queued up the intro music, and I've got to learn this. But one of the things I wanted to say was,
said everything's up and running.
Hey, it is up and running.
And
Yeah. Woohoo, it's working.
Says your Facebook feed looks good.
Oh,
DJ
hey,
174,004. Hi, ladies.
I don't know who that is,
Hello.
but hi, welcome. For those of you
Johnson.
who are looking on Facebook, if you guys are watching on Facebook, head on over to I Didn't See That Coming on YouTube and subscribe and like the video, please. I like to put these on Facebook so that we can all watch them, but of course we'd like you to subscribe, and then if you hit the notification bell, you'll always get
share, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else, Veronica, in the chat?
Let me see. Amy Johnson says, hi there, I'm here.
Hi, Amy.
And that's the last one for now.
Okay, so without getting too far into it, I'll just say that through my life, I mean, I've been married twice. I've had 3 really long-term relationships. I've had 2 children, 17 years apart, through 2 marriages. And I'll tell you, I learned a lot going through my 20s And then I thought when I was done with my 20s, oh, I've got this all figured out. I'm ready. I'm good. And then the 30s was a whole new like learning experience. And now I'm in my 40s. I can't believe I'm in my 40s, but I'm here. And I still feel like I'm already going through a whole nother phase of learning. Do you feel that way?
I think you never stop learning, you know.
Right.
Um I think I don't think it matters like how old we get. Like we're always going to keep learning something
Mm-hmm.
about ourselves. Like I am not the same person that I was in my 20s and 30s.
Oh my gosh, me
No,
neither.
and I don't think I want to be because I like who I am now and where I'm at, and I'm still learning a lot about me. And Yeah, I definitely don't want to be back there again in that frame, like early 20s. Yeah, especially
Yeah.
early 20s. Hmm.
Yeah, I was a little crazy in my 20s. If my mom were watching right now, she'd be probably talking out loud, going, oh my gosh. Because
Yeah.
um, actually, after my divorce in my early 20s, when I went back to school and I got into a relationship, and that didn't work out after about 4 years. That happens to be with the same person I'm in a relationship with now.
Oh,
But
wow.
but it didn't work out, and I went back home and I lived with my mom. I think I was there no more than 3 or 4 months, and I came home from school one day, and my mom goes, "Guess what?" And I was like, "What?" She goes, "You don't live here anymore." And I was like, "What?"
Oh.
She's like, "Oh no, you have an apartment. I just rented you an apartment. You need to learn how to do this on your own, and you need to grow up, and it's time, so go." I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this. So I moved out, and I've been on my own ever since. But I really, really think, as tough as that was probably for her to do, if she hadn't done that,
Hmm.
no, I just don't know. I don't think that I would have gained my independence as quickly, because I think I would have relied on her. And I had a 4-year-old toddler, and she
Yeah,
didn't
that
want to
makes
deal with
sense.
kids. She already raised her kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a hard time, but it was a growing time for me, and I needed it because I was doing the partying thing, and doing all the things that normal high school
Oh
kids
my gosh,
do
no one's
when they're
done that,
college
Jeanette.
kids. Huh?
No one's ever done that. The partying.
But I waited because I had
Oh,
my daughter so early. I didn't do that until I was in my 20s. So
yeah.
all the crazy stuff happened in my 20s, and then, and then I grew up and I got a job, which turned into a career, but then the running's never stopped. And I've been in some really difficult relationships and some really difficult places in life, some really, really hard times, but I feel like those hard times have created the person that I am today. And I feel like I'm much more compassionate. You know what I mean? And I'm more
Yes.
empathetic.
And empathetic, and at least for me, like it's not just about me anymore. Like um I have, like you said, more compassion for others.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something else I was going to say and I forgot. Um you think you have it figured out when you're younger, like in your 20s and stuff? No. I'm sorry, but you don't. You're still learning about yourself and, um, trying to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you really don't have it together then.
I still don't have it figured out, Veronica.
No, I
Are you
know.
kidding? I don't think
I
I'll
know.
ever have it figured out. I'm just honestly just trying to live my life
Hmm.
with my principles. They're not everybody else's principles. I don't live my life, through other people's eyes. The one thing I think I did learn, and the thing that I think that I am comfortable and confident with now, almost 100% confident with, is just being me. And that's the you are enough thing. I always felt like, and maybe you did too, Veronica, I don't know. And maybe you guys out in chat world too, please let us know if you have a piece of advice that you would have shared with your younger self. What would that piece of advice be? We want to hear it. But the you are enough thing, I kind of, when you grow up, your parents tell you what to do, who's okay to hang out with. They basically instill their morals and their code of ethics into you because you're their child. Well, we don't always grow up wanting to keep those. And I'm not saying they're good or bad, but sometimes if we want to change something about ourselves, or we don't want to repeat something that, we saw happen in our family, or whatever. So we may develop our own set of guiding principles. And those principles often, I don't think really, really become rooted until we get a little bit older. Because I think in our 20s, we're still like, who are we? Are we what our parents wanted us to be? Or are we the person that we are happy with? And I don't feel that I became happy with myself and okay with myself until around my 40s. And I feel like it took 2 marriages, 2 divorces, bad relationships, horrible decisions, and all these things for me to go, you know what? Now I'm in my 40s. I don't have as many years left. So I think that's another thing, when you hit that like 40-year mark, you're like, man, the time is more limited than it was when we were in our 20s or 30s. So you want to spend that time the way you want to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Talking about principles and things, the one thing that did stick with me with my mom, like I'll just say like her faith to me was real. And so that really stuck with me. And I'm trying to what's the word? That was real to me. And I'm just trying to, I don't want to say hold on, but sorry, I'm having a hard time figuring out what I want to say.
Okay.
I guess I want that for me too. And that's what I want for my son. I want him to see how real that is, for me. And when he gets older, he can decide whether, that's what he wants.
Right.
Or him.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that the other piece of advice I would tell myself, especially when I was younger, is, and I heard this one a lot, be assertive.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I've always had teachers and stuff tell me that when I was younger. I had a lady tell me that when I was in 2nd or 3rd grade. And I was like, what does that even mean? I don't even know what that meant yet.
Right.
I mean, I know that now, but.
Well, if you want to check the chat while I'm saying this part,
Yes.
I grew up with extremely assertive female figures in my life. My mom is very dominant. My sister, my grandmother, very, very dominant women. So assertiveness wasn't an issue for me. But what I did have to realize is where that fine line is between assertiveness and bitchy, or assertiveness and, you know what I mean? Sometimes when you're too assertive, you come off, I don't know, a little bit too much. And so I had to learn that. And when I was working, I worked in HR for a number of years. I found that I just could not master the art of, like, I would send an email and it would say, this is what I want. This is when I want it. This is how I want it. But I didn't know how to do like the niceties. Like I never thought of how are you today? I hope you and your family are well. Happy holidays. I was
Right.
like, well, I just need the shortest way to get to what I need. And it took a long time for me to realize that, when you're dealing with people, you have to do a little bit more of a little bit more of the niceties. So
Yeah.
that's something that I learned. And I had some business coaching, which was one of the things that I can credit my work in the HR field was that I did get some like business coaching and some kind of like personal development coaching. And it helped me so, so much. And I wouldn't have probably been able to do that otherwise, but it was really, really helpful. And my business coach and my personal coach told me once, I told him, I want to be a motivational speaker. I want to tell my story. I want to talk to people. That's what I want to do. He goes, I think you're going to be an aggravational speaker.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like,
Oh,
really? Am I
wow.
that bad? But apparently I had a lot to learn. But I think I had such strong influences in my life that I had to find my own balance. Because I was always compassionate and I was always very caring. That part was always in me, but I had to learn how to use it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How to have that good balance. I think I'm getting better.
We have a couple of people that are just saying hi.
Hi to you that are saying hi.
There's a name I can't pronounce. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your name. Sorry, but he says hi, he or she.
Do you want to spell it?
Yeah. Mahir and then TOPAL 04.
Mahir? I don't know, but
Yeah.
hello
They
and
say
thank you for
hi,
being with us.
and then Tara,
Bobbingkirk?
yeah, she says
Hi,
not feeling
Tara.
well.
Oh, Tara, I saw your post and I thought you said you were going to be kind of sort of on the mend until Monday. So I'm so sorry to hear
Amy
you're not feeling
Johnson
well.
says you're worth it.
Aw, you're
Donna
awesome.
Casterson, I think I should have waited much longer before I got married and had kids. I had been moving all over the place with mom and brothers.
Yeah, I think sometimes
And
I
never got to
definitely had
live.
kids
Sorry, I
early.
didn't finish her comment. And never got to live where I could be comfortable. And then
Oh,
the
yeah.
person with the name I can't
My
say.
hair? We're going to call her
Oh,
M.
yeah, the other person, they said they're visually impaired as well.
Oh,
So,
awesome. Well, I don't know if you haven't tuned into other videos. I'll say that I am legally blind, but I do have some partial sight, although I'm kind of like a 10%er. So it's like a little bit of sight, but it's not enough to do anything at all with. How about you, Veronica?
I'm actually totally blind. I've been blind since I was a baby.
Okay. Okay. So one of the other things I was thinking is that, when we are raising our own kids, do you feel okay? I'm gonna say faith, for example, for you, because I grew up, and this is where we're a little different. I didn't grow up with faith being like a pillar of my life at all. I didn't go to church. I didn't have family that went to church every once in a while, because my parents were divorced, and my mom's family was Catholic. So we would go to like midnight mass and Easter services and things like that. But other than that, I didn't have faith as a guiding force. And my mom always left it open to me. If you want to go to church, if you want to be baptized, whatever you want, it's up to you. But since I didn't have faith guiding me, I don't know. I still don't know what I'm missing. And I feel that I have faith guiding me now, even though I still don't go to church, but I absolutely believe. And I really want my son to know that as well, but still have him be able to make his own decisions.
Yeah, I get it, because that's where I'm at. Like, I want him, I can only tell him and show him from me. Like, if I want him to um, learn about faith, then I have to um, show him that it's not something I just fall back on when
Mm-hmm.
I need something.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that's, with me all the time, you know? And but at the same time, I gotta leave it, up to him. That's
Right.
one thing
Yeah.
I always tell myself. I am never gonna force my kids to. Whoa.
Oh my gosh. Sorry. Yeah. I forgot to put that on Do Not Disturb. Go ahead.
Cool song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
babe.
cute.
Sorry.
Aw.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah. I think that. I mean, I've seen families where they say, nope, this is how it's gonna be, and
Mm-hmm.
that's it.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah, and
Yeah, because I know there's those families where people grow up and they're forced to go to church. They're forced to do all the things, and then they end up just being so anti
yeah,
just
I
because
never was. I
of how they
loved
were
going.
forced to
I
do
mean,
it.
I loved going to church with my mom. Like, that's one thing I miss. I enjoyed it. Um, but that's again because I saw how much
Mm-hmm. How
she
much she
devoted and how
believed.
much she believed, and I saw how real and authentic it was for her. I loved it.
Yeah.
For me, that's the time I spent with her,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
um, I loved it. I miss it.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Well, and now it's one of those things that's like impossible to do unless you tune into your church virtually, which
Virtually,
for
yeah.
kids now, they're making church a lot of fun now. It's not what I remember when I was a kid. A lot of churches now will apply the teachings to your daily lives, and
Yes.
it's more about like coaching and just decision making and
Character building.
more practical applications, which I really, really, really like.
Mhm.
I think that's great. Um, yeah, I think that right now, especially, it's one of those things where people are being stuck in their homes and they're going through such a tough time. I think faith is a big deal for a lot of people right now, and they're probably leaning on their faith a lot more too. Do
Yep.
you still do your Christian talk show?
I am about to do that again, actually, soon, for my friend who's starting up her own radio station. It's called United as One Radio.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really cool because she's gonna have all types of shows from different parts of the world. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when she's launching. She's launching soon.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, when you do launch, we'll definitely have to make sure to blast your stuff out there for
Yeah,
those
I'll
of you
let you guys
guys who want to watch.
know. Mhm.
I do. Hey, Connor, you need to leave, please. I know someone that used to watch your show, and that's where he says he actually knew you from. He's like, I know her from her
That's cool.
Christian show. Yeah, it's really, isn't that cool to know that there were
That's
people that
really
were watching
yeah.
that actually know you from that? I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome. Anything else in the comments?
Let me check. Amy Johnson. That is what I would say to myself. I'm not sure what she's responding to.
She might have been referring to the assertive,
Okay.
maybe.
Yeah.
I think that was the last thing you were kind of talking
Yes.
about.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is like when you're blind, when you have any kind of I don't want to say disability because that's not the word, or just something that causes you to have challenges that you have to overcome, whether it be learning, or if you're like my son who has ADHD, or my daughter has it also, or just there's so many things. You have to find like all these different ways of still living your life the way you want to live it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the other thing that I would tell myself is don't let obstacles get you in the way. Don't think
Yes.
of obstacles as barriers. Because
Yeah.
oftentimes we come across, like if you're in an obstacle course and you come across a big wall, I mean, to you, it just looks like a barrier, but people are finding ways to get over that because it's like a
Right.
relay. You know, you got to find your way to the next hurdle, the next obstacle, or the next part of it. And I feel like I have this outlook on life that even though there have been a lot of really, really tough times, I don't know if it's just this resilient part of my personality or what it is, but I feel like when I'm on the other end of it, I know that my body is affected. You know, like how you have a lot of stress and you're like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
we got through it.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there are a lot of things that I am living with because of the way my body has handled the stress over the years,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like I've always learned something. And I think if Connor, hold on one second. Connor, yeah, I'm not going to ask you again. Please leave. We can hear your iPad. You were told not to come in here, and he's coming in here anyway because now he's like trying to find where the boundaries are. So, parenting in action, guys.
Hey, that was
But
the
we're
last.
moms. This is gonna happen.
This is
He's
life.
bored. It's Sunday. He would rather be somewhere else.
I was just gonna ask, is he bored?
Yes, he's insanely bored.
Oh.
And as soon as Friday came around, he goes, Mom, what are we doing tomorrow? Can we go somewhere? And then Saturday came, and tomorrow, what are we going to do? Can we go somewhere? I mean, he's used to us going to like Gilroy Gardens and the zoo and San Francisco and just going places, and we just can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So the poor kids are so bored.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of getting back to that is like being able to deal with the obstacles, whether that means if it's a blindness obstacle and it's related to technology or education or school, or it's a life obstacle and it's a divorce or a heartache or loss of a job or a home.
I would even throw grief in there.
Absolutely. No, grief would be number one.
It would be, yeah, grief. Yeah, I would even throw that in there.
Absolutely. I think loss
Mm-hmm.
is, for me, one of the single hardest things that I deal with, because especially, and I don't want to bring up something that's too difficult for you, but especially when it's a parent. Because with my dad, I know that it's been 23 years since my dad, well, my stepdad, but he was like my real dad, since he hasn't been here.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't get easier. It just, I don't know. When it's a parent and it's someone you're really close to, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's the loss of someone that you weren't close to that you wish you would have been closer to. That's
the loss of a friendship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've experienced that one, unfortunately. Thanks to a previous relationship, we don't talk anymore.
It's tough. That's really tough.
I was going to add something. The other thing I would tell myself, my younger self, is don't worry so much about what people think of you. I've gotten a lot better at that since I'm in my 40s. I don't care so much anymore like I used to. Now, I'm going to throw in sometimes because,
well, of course,
as a blind person, like when somebody meets, how do I say this without, I don't want to say this like, I don't know. I'm always, that's one thing I am like still having trouble with is worrying about how people perceive blind people when they meet
Mm-hmm.
someone who's blind, I guess, and they
Right.
think that all blind people are the same. I don't know.
Right.
Does that make sense? And
This
we're
makes sense.
not. We are
No.
totally different. We do things different. We have different expectations, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So yeah, that's another thing I would tell myself.
I agree. I agree. And also, like, when on the same note about not caring what people think, I mean, of course, we all care that,
Well, of
and just
course.
like with this show, we want
Mhm.
to show our best side to the world. But at the
Yes,
same time, you saw that we're like, I made mistakes a lot trying to launch this thing. We're human. And
that's technical
that's
issues.
part of what I want to get through too, is that this is not
Yeah.
a perfect thing.
Nope.
We're here to be real with you guys. And yeah,
Yes.
we don't want to show you the worst of us. I mean, we don't want
No.
our kids climbing off the ceilings, or, you know what I mean? Like, there are things that we do to
Climbing on
try to
the
bring,
table or
yeah, we want to bring the best of us to you, but we want to bring the real us. We're trying to not be anything that we, oh my God, I said,
aren't.
you know, thank you.
Mhm.
And I think it's completely okay. I think we should embrace who we are. And if there are people that don't like it, whether you're blind, whether you're sighted, whether anything, it doesn't matter. Just completely embrace it, because those people that really matter are going to be the ones that are
Gonna be the
always going to be there.
Mhm.
And I thought the advice you were going to say a few minutes ago was a little bit different than what it was. But another piece of advice that I would give is that, well, and this is personal, this is not going to
Mm.
apply to everyone, but I will never, ever allow myself to get in a relationship again with anyone that won't allow me to be completely who I am, that's going to try to stifle me in some way,
Oh my
or that
gosh,
is not going to let
girl,
me
I
have
was
my
thinking about
friends.
that. Yes.
That's what I
Yes.
thought you were going to say.
I
That
was
was
thinking
a
about
huge
that.
learning
Yes. That
experience.
is huge. I will never, ever, ever let that happen to me again. Um, I mean, so much so that I lost a lot of me,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of
Mm-hmm.
my skills. I couldn't believe that. It took my sister coming to visit, and she saw it. We went to San Francisco for that weekend, and we were walking across the Golden Gate Bridge. That was so much fun. And
Awesome.
she noticed that I started getting startled by the sound of the traffic.
Mm-hmm.
I never used to do that. And she goes, "What's the matter with you?" I'm like, I don't know. What? She goes, "You're getting startled by the traffic. You never used to do that." And it
Mm-hmm.
took her for her to tell me that, because I honestly didn't realize that that's what was happening. And that's when I started to think, oh my God, how could I let somebody do that to me? So no, I will never let that happen to me again. I worked hard to get back to where I am, and I fought
Mm-hmm.
hard to get my independence back. Oh no, not gonna happen.
No,
So yes,
I completely
I
agree.
agree.
I mean, I have lost so many friends due to relationships, and I used to think, and I mean, I know we've gone in a million directions here, but that's what these shows are about anyway. It's just kind of talking through things. But I used to think that it was okay if someone acted jealous, because that meant they probably cared more.
I used to think that too.
And then I came to realize that that's not it at
That's not.
all.
Hmm.
It's the people, when you're in the right relationship, the jealousy isn't there because the trust is, and the communication is, and all the things that matter are part of it. So you don't have to have someone in your life that's jealous and that's asking who you're talking to, or saying you can't go here or go there or talk to this person or that.
Hmm.
I mean, I was told for many years that the reason that I was in the senior position I was in at work is because I was doing things with my boss to get there. I mean, it was just it's a horrible thing. And then when you go to work, and I at one point actually had to tell my employer that I was having some issues with domestic stuff because there were so many phone calls flooding into the office during the day, trying to check on what I was doing, where I was at. I mean, literally, it was really, really, really getting bad there for a while. So it took a while. It took longer than it should have for me to get to the point where I was able to realize that was not going to work out for me in the long run. But for those of you out there that might be going through something like that, just know, and it's probably it is a thing that I would like to cover in another video. It's just, to be honest with you, I'm really apprehensive about how to talk about that so publicly. You don't always know who's watching, especially when you're broadcasting live on Facebook.
Yes.
And I certainly don't want to start anything, but I want people to know that that isn't a normal way to live. It's not an acceptable way to live. And there are ways of getting help. And I'm afraid for a lot of people that are kind of locked down with people maybe like that right now, because I feel like there are probably a lot of people out there in their homes that can't get out, that are dealing with more of it because of the stress of everything right now.
And they're with that person all the time now.
And it's a very freeing feeling to not have to worry about that anymore. And for any of you guys that might be having that right now, it is greener on the other side, even though it's hard. Like, it's one of those life hurdles that you cannot see any way through it, around it, over it. The end is never, ever clear because it's such a hard thing. But you just kind of take it one step at a time. And I don't know. I just hope that if there's anybody that's watching, that you will try to get help and know that there's something better on the other side of it, even if you don't know what that is yet. Because a lot of times we don't want to make choices. I'm sure you'll agree with this, Veronica. We don't want to make choices that we don't know what the outcome's going to be. It's so hard. Like, I know what I'm going to cook for dinner. That means I know what I'm going to put in my stomach. But, you know, when you're looking for a job, or you're thinking right now that you might lose your job, or you're trying to make choices about a big change in your life, and you don't know how it's going to pan out. And that risk is really hard for us as humans. Risk is really a hard thing. Do we have anything in the comments?
A couple of comments. Let's see. Okay. Donna Casterson says, we gave our kids church experience when they were young. When they got older, they could choose. And then Amy Johnson says, I would say you're worth it. Kami Campbell, hello, how are you?
Hi, Amy, we're good.
The name I can't pronounce, sorry, I'll just call the name person M. Hard for kid. Donna Casterson, yes, it does make sense. I do the same thing. Donna Casterson, same here. And that's it for the comments.
Okay. Yeah, this conversation went a little bit in a different direction than I was thinking it would, but I do think that's an important thing to talk about, because, geez, you know, when we're young, we don't know anything. And you know what? Didn't your parents tell you that? Oh, trust me, honey, you don't know nothing yet. I heard
Yes.
it and I never believed it. And I
That's
do
the other piece
remember,
of advice I would tell myself, listen to your parents. They know what
yeah,
they mean.
I did actually call my mom once when my daughter, I don't remember what it was, but I was going through something with my daughter that was one of those things that she always said, when you yourself experience this, you will know what I mean. And I had to call her and just tell her, I want you to know that you were right. I want you to know that you were right. This did happen, and I would never have believed you until I had to experience myself. And I went to a training, I don't know, it was like 4 years ago. It was called the 1 minute temper tantrum.
Oh, wow.
And the thing that was really the biggest takeaway I had from it was that kids learn by doing. They don't learn because we as parents tell them, don't do that. You're going to hurt yourself. You know, don't do this. This is going to be the end result. Like, none of us, even as adults, we don't really learn because someone else says, I went through it. Trust me, you don't
Nope.
want to do it. We
Mhm.
never learn that way. Like,
Nope.
we're incapable of learning until we ourselves have experienced it.
Mhm.
And so I try to remember that a lot with Connor. I realize that he's not always going to listen to me because it's always that thing where don't open the box, but you have to open the box to find out why they said don't
But
open
yet
the
the more
box.
you tell them not to do something, they're gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan is.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly how Connor is. And
Mhm.
you know, the one thing that I think that my parents did do right. I grew up in a family where alcohol was a big thing. Like, there was always alcohol. We had a weekend house, boats, and there was a lot of partying and stuff like that. So I grew up around alcohol at a really young age. I didn't really drink it, but if my parents would let me, if I wanted to try it, they would
Mhm.
say, okay, you can have a sip of it or whatever. I
Yeah.
never ever grew up thinking alcohol was any big deal at all.
Mhm.
I just, because I never felt like it was a taboo thing that I had to go out and experience for myself. I
Excuse
don't know
me.
if it had anything to do with that or not, but I feel like I think I'm going to be that kind of parent. Connor's not going to be around a lot of alcohol just because I'm not a big drinker. But if he ever
Yeah, that's the
wanted
same
to
with
try it,
Jonathan. Mhm.
if he ever wanted to try it as he got older, I think I would rather have him with me trying it than off at a party with his friends. I don't know, but I don't think we can stop the at the party with the friends thing because we all do that. That's how we have fun when we're growing up,
Mhm.
you know.
Well, it
But
just makes me think of what I said earlier, like, don't be so quick to do what everyone else is doing
yep.
just to fit in, you
Well,
know? For
that's
me,
the
drinking
key. I
was
think
one of
the fit
them,
in.
something like that, yeah.
Hmm. I remember when and Tino, who is oh my gosh, Glass Blast Corpse.
Mhm.
I've known him since high school, and I was in the Dare program, like
Oh, I
not Dare,
remember
but what
that.
was it? FNL, Friday Night Live, which was like kids against drugs and alcohol. I mean,
Mhm.
that was my experience in high school. I was not a fan of drinking. I was not a fan of drugs. I never touched any of that stuff in high school. I was I wasn't afraid to fit in or not fit in
Mhm.
either because I already didn't fit in with the popular people. So
Right.
I wasn't really influenced by
Mhm.
their choices. It was
Right.
when I got into my 20s, that was the time period that was problematic for me.
Mhm.
It wasn't the high school influences, it was the influences as I got older. Um, but I think if you make your decisions based on doing what you want to do, what you think is right for yourself, and not wanting to fit in or try to be part of another group or whatever, um, then we're going to learn. I mean, because we
Yeah.
might make bad choices, but we're going to learn and grow and become whoever it is we're meant to become because of those choices. And
Mhm.
for some people, that choice is maybe drinking, maybe drugs. I know people that have had a really difficult time trying to stop using drugs. But I also know those people that have done it and they're successful and they're out there spreading the word and helping other people do it.
Yes.
So it's just a setback. It's not something that has to define who you become, whatever your choice is. I'm just really, I try to be really proactive about that and not really try to, I don't know, label people just because they've fallen into that kind of situation. Because I just know a lot of people that it took a lot of time, but they were able to see their way through it. But I also have a very good friend of mine who about 4 months ago, back in November, was killed by her partner. And it was because she wasn't able to see her way through that. So that's a really hard thing. When you were talking about loss, it really made me think of that and how she was so young and she had just so much going for her, but she just fell in with the wrong person and she didn't know her own worth, and she just let him treat her horribly, and now she's not here. So I hope I never have to hear that happen to any of my friends again. Did I lose you? Oh no, she might be gone. Anyway, I think that let me check the time because I don't want you guys to have to hang out with me too long. Okay, we've almost been going for about an hour. Let me check my stream really fast just to see if we lost Miss Veronica. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I think we might have lost her, but let me see if I can get to the hey. I'm done. Hey, no, I'm not done, baby. I'm about ready to wrap up now. Okay, guys. We lost Veronica and we've been going about an hour, so I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this stream now. Be looking a little bit later or towards the middle of this week. I think I'm going to sit down and have a conversation with Connor about him and his blindness and how he navigates it as an 8-year-old. So be looking for that. He won't be on video, of course, unless someone tells me otherwise. I am thinking that if I do a video with him in it, I might not be able to have my comments on YouTube. So probably I'll be talking to him, but he won't be on the video. But be watching out for that. And again, I want to say thank you so much to Jen Stewart for my intro video or my intro music. I love it. And I hope all of you guys have an amazing Sunday and have a great week. And I will be live again, probably with Veronica again next Sunday. And I will be seeing you guys soon. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please also, if you have any idea what you would like to Connor turn that down, see in videos to come, please put it in the comments. And I will do what I can to make it happen. All right, guys, thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Bye now.